Hello you guys, this is Fabio Hart coming back with another video. I want to talk about is number one, leaving money on the table. I'm going to jump right into it. It's going to be clear cut and dry today. And I also want to talk about your marketing system or developing your marketing system. And a lot of this stuff that I'm going to say, I'm sure I talked about in the past, but this stuff is paramount, you guys. See, here's the thing. When you try one thing after another, after another, after another, when you're out here marketing your commercial and residential cleaning business, what you're doing is really trying to figure out a way or trying to build your system, okay? And the only way that you can successfully build it is keep trying different marketing strategies. Okay, and what I mean by marketing strategies, I'm talking about your actions in trying to pick up new contracts, okay? Whether you're doing direct mail, whether you're doing phone calls, whether you're doing door-to-door, you have to develop a system, okay? Now, I get a lot of emails from all over the world because of YouTube. People that watch my videos, they say, well, Fabio, I'm trying this, and I'm trying that, and I'm trying this, and I went with Thumbtack, and I went with a home advisor, and you're going through these different channels, right? And that's okay. That's okay. But the thing is that you have to kind of hone in on one thing and almost run it like a little campaign. So let's say, for an example, you're doing phone calling, okay? So you're picking up the phones, which is more challenging than ever these days. So you're picking up the phones, you're making your phone calls, and you're trying to build traction that way. Okay, run it as like a mini campaign. Okay, just run it as a mini campaign. And like I said, what I mean about that is that you have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. You can't do it for 1 week and say, well, you know what, phone calls don't work. You know, it's challenging. Whatever you do, it's going to be challenging. Okay, it's not going to come easy. It's not going to come easy. Anybody that started a commercial cleaning business or a window cleaning business or whatever type of business, brick and mortar store, they're going to tell you they had trial and error, they had hard work in building their system. But once they build their system, they continue to operate on that system to this day. Hey, how's it going, bud?
All right, how you feeling, sir?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
Doing well.
That's good. That's good. 1 second, guys. 1 second here. Let me see. I get a lot of Facebook inquiries. Like I say, so you want to keep trying one thing after another, okay? But you want to give your marketing time to be used. Okay, you want to give your marketing time to be used. Okay, so you don't want to just try this using the phones for an example. You don't want to just try that for 1 week and say, well, you know, I did that for 1 week and it didn't work. Okay, and then solely because what happened is your motivation to slow down, right? Your attention span is very short. Our attention span is short these days. So you have to keep, Jesus Christ, you have to keep trying one thing after another. Okay. Another thing was hot on my mind, what I want to talk about is you guys leaving money on the table. Okay. It's absolutely necessary that you guys do follow-up phone calls. It's necessary. It's paramount that you do follow-up phone calls. Here's the thing. A lot of my people that's watching me, I'm not sure if you guys like really listening to me and really jotting down notes. And I know some people getting it because every single week now, I'm getting people that say, thank you, Fabio. I'm getting all type of letters and text messages and things of that sort. Thank you, Fabio. I watch your videos and they helped me get my first contract. I'm on my third contract. I'm on my fourth contract, right? Now I just have to get my paperwork together. Do not, and like I say, a lot of this stuff I'm talking about is going to intertwine with one another. Get the paperwork together first. Do that first. Once again, you can walk into a potential client tomorrow, right? Watching my videos, you're going door to door. You got what you're gonna wear tomorrow. You got everything laid out, right? So you're walking into a potential account tomorrow, right? Or you're picking up the phones, you're making the calls, or you send out direct mailers and things like that. You never know. You never know when somebody, excuse me, when somebody's gonna pick up the phone after looking at your flyer and say, "Hey, can you guys come in and give me an estimate?" Or you call in over the phones and somebody say, hey, great, when can you guys come in and give me an estimate? You never know. And that estimate could, just as soon as you blink your eyes, turn into a contract, really. You know, you say, okay, look, we want to get the numbers in. We want to see what you guys are going to charge us to do this, that, and the third. If you don't have the paperwork together, you're going to be looked at as unprofessional. I'll put it that way. If you don't have the paperwork together, you're going to be looked at as unprofessional. Okay, so let's systematically put this thing together, because, again, everything boils down to a system. You know, McDonald's is a system. Microsoft is a system. Little Caesars, that's a system. Everything is a system, right? Walmart, that's a system. You know, everything is systematically done, okay? But they didn't just build that system overnight. They kept trying different things, seeing how their potential customers and clients will react to certain things, okay? What worked, they kept. What didn't work, you notice those different campaigns, they don't run those campaigns no more. They don't operate like how they were in the beginning, right? Because they were trying different things to see what they could do to keep the customer attention, what to keep you coming in the door at Walmart, what to keep you coming to McDonald's, okay? So everything is a system, okay? But again, you guys have to be systematic the way you do the thing, okay? So again, to move back to the marketing and just kind of show you how this stuff intertwine, is that you want to run these different marketing campaigns as like campaigns. You want to give them a chance to work. Okay, you want to give them a chance, and I mean really, really hit it hard. Now, am I telling you, hey, just do phone calls for 90 days and don't do anything? No, I'm not saying that. But if you the type of person that you're not really willing to jump in front of the client in terms of going door to door, then you might have to use another form of marketing. You might have to use the phones, right? You might have to use the flyers. I don't know any business person, because this business that we're in is a person to person. It's very personable, okay? Have you done Google ads or Yep? No, I haven't. And like I say, to be honest, I don't do a lot of online advertising. I think I remember saying that on one of the last lives I did. I don't do a lot of online advertising, okay? Now, am I saying it doesn't work? No, I'm not saying that. It's just not effective for me in my specific marketplace, right? But certain things work in certain marketplaces. It's good. I mean, I'm sure there's other companies probably in my marketplace that utilize the online platforms and the social medias and the different things like that. It's just, I'm more personable. At the end of the day, I'm gonna have to deal with the person, okay? So I'd rather deal with them now, right, than try to finagle my way, spend a little money, right, on ads and things like that on Google, right, just to get their attention. And then I get their attention for them to say, hey, can you come in and do the walkthrough? Or, hey, can you come in and give us an estimate? Or, hey, can we set up a meeting? Okay, so that's why I like to use methods where I don't have to spend a lot of money, you guys. Okay, I like to use methods where I don't have to spend a lot of money. My business was purely built on sweat equity. I had a little program I bought. You guys heard the story. I had a little program that I bought early on, right, for $200. I read the thing from cover to cover, and that's really all the money that I needed, in the very, very beginning, besides the setup costs and LLC, different things like that, right? The bank account, set up the bank account, things like that. But outside of all of that startup stuff, right, the marketing portion of my business was totally built on sweat equity. And that was picking up the phones. I had flyers in the beginning, but I felt like it wasn't building the traction that I was looking for at the time. So I just completely stopped doing it. Now I've reverted back to it these days, right? Because I found it to work, right? So, excuse me, guys. So I built my business on telephones and going door to door, okay? And going door to door. So, and that's what I suggest that you guys do, especially if you don't have a lot of money. Like if you have quite a bit of money and you can do certain marketing plans and certain things like that, then go out and do it, guys. Test the waters. Don't be scared to invest in yourself. Don't say, well, I don't have a lot of money, so I won't invest no money. Don't have that idea, right? Don't think that way, okay? Because you could turn just a little money using maybe a Facebook campaign, maybe a Google campaign, that type of thing, right? Sponsor ads and things like that on Instagram or whatever. You can use a little money and turn that into a probably an absolute fortune for yourself, right? Especially if you specialize in that realm, right? If you understand that realm, SEO, online marketing, that type of thing, right? It might work for you, okay? Don't get me wrong. Don't say, well, Fabio don't do it, so I'm not going to do it. No, try it. Okay, I'm not telling you to throw your whole budget there, but you might want to try different things. Again, this is how a system is built. You have to try different things, right? You have to try different things. Whatever work, keep it. Whatever don't work, do away with it. Okay, but you want to give yourself, I would say, maybe a 3 to 6 month run to be real honest with yourself and with everything. Seem like you can reach a lot of more business going cold calling, and it's easier to miss that. Yeah. Yeah, well, you can reach a lot more doing cold calling. But when I measured my cold calling today along with my door knocking, I find cold calling is becoming a lot more harder, you guys. It is being more strategic these days. Okay, and that's because everybody is calling everybody. People is trying to sell some of everything to your potential clients. So by the time you call them, on whatever given day that you call them on, they are, oh, shit, man, these guys, how do they get my number? That's kind of their mind frame, because people trying to sell them, donation funds and ink pens and erasers and invest in this, and this can help your business. Like, people are selling some of everything. So by the time us commercial cleaners call them, right, they're kind of like worn down, and we get the same answer that a lot of these companies get. No, I'm not interested right now. Yeah, that's why I start, that's why I start so early, or at least have my people start, I should say, start so early. So, as you guys know, my people call between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 noon. By 12 noon, they're done, because I find it very hard to reach the decision maker after 12 noon. That's lunchtime. A lot of times they don't come back to the office. A lot of times, if they are in the office, they just don't want to be bothered. They tell their assistant, say, if someone call, I'm not here, right? If someone call, I'm busy. I want to take. If someone calls, send them a voicemail. This is what they'll tell their people. But you have a better chance of catching that person in the morning hours, okay? And that's just been proven based on our system, right? The way, because there used to be a time, where I called past 12 noon, and I gave more hang-ups after 12 noon than anything. Now, am I telling you guys you can't reach the decision maker after 12? I'm not saying that, but the chances are probably slim to none that you're going to reach them after 12 noon, okay, or 1 o'clock. If you want to kind of say, you know what, I'm going to give myself until 1 o'clock, because everybody may not go to lunch at 12, right? So that's the way I was thinking. Okay, man, after 12, it's hard to reach these people. Okay, but right now, like I say, in the realm of cold calling as a whole, as an industry, it's really hard to kind of build traction over the phone. It takes many calls. You can reach them a lot faster, right? Because if you get hung up on it, you just go to the next number, right? Opposed to door knocking and walking up the street, right? You only got so many businesses in between that you can walk into, right? But you can hit it like fast as shit using your phone book or using your online platform, or whatever on the internet, right? So it's fat. You can reach them faster by phone, right? But your time of getting in the door by phone is getting kind of slim, and it's just because of the industry as a whole. And this is only my personal opinion, you guys. I'm not saying. I hope you guys understand. So door knocking for me still work. Door knocking for me still work. Okay. The chance of you reaching the decision maker like early on, like if you start door knocking early, is very high. Okay, is very high. You catch them early. They don't have a lot of people they were dealing with, that type of thing. Okay, so you can catch them early on. But like I say, everything come back into a system base. Okay, so I would suggest that you guys make sure you have all of your documents, your paperwork. Okay, from your agreements to whatever, your flyers, your brochures, whatever it is, your invoicing, your invoices, your um, whatever, right? Your agreements, your timesheets for your employees. I would suggest that you guys have all of this stuff ready up front. Okay, ready up front. If you're not prepared, it's gonna cost you a lot. You know, like I drive around in the city and I have applications on me, right? They see the magnet on my car and stuff like that, and they, hi, are you guys hiring? Are you at Kroger's? Are you at Walmart? Wherever you're at, right? Gas station. Hey, bud, you guys hiring? Right? If I got an application on you, you can give them an application right then and there, right? Hey, there's an application. Here's my business card. When you fill out the application, just give us a call back, turn the application in, we'll set something up, and you can kind of work it from there. Or hey, just send us your resume to this email or whatever the case is. Because like I say, guys, you have to be prepared. You have to, I tell people all the time to carry certain documents, certain things. Let me see. So what is it? This is something you have in place for getting leads to close. Well, my system is pretty much door knocking. Okay, my system is pretty much door knocking. It's very strategic the way we do it. Okay, like I have a certain way that I format it. Right, I format my door knocking by zip code. Okay, because especially in a city like Detroit or Ohio, Atlanta, a big city like Atlanta, these areas, man, it's huge, right? And if you just think of your city as a whole, let's say you stay in Philly or you stay in Los Angeles or whatever the case, Los Angeles is huge in Los Angeles, or Houston is huge in Houston, right? So you have to break it down to sections, right? Number one, you want to make sure that it's easy for you to get to. Okay, you don't want to start off having to drive 25 miles out, 20 miles out. Not saying that you want to eventually go out that far, but you don't want to start off that way, right? So you might want to start out, maybe 5 miles from where you stay, then go 10 miles from where, you see what I'm saying? And that's just on one side of town. So if you're on the southwest side or the south side of your city, right, then you want to go 5, 10 miles south of where you're at, right, in your zip code. Then branches to the neighboring zip code, which is a zip code, a zip code that's close to yours, right? You branch there, you go next door, right? You go. That's how I built mine. That's how I built mine because, like I say, if I look at the city as a whole, it's really huge. You'll be like, okay, shit, where do I start? Okay, so once you know your city, it's easy for you to navigate, obviously, because you know certain districts and certain areas that you can kind of go into, where there's a lot of high traffic area, where there's a lot of buildings, or where the business district, the financial district, so you kind of know this if you know your city, right? So that's kind of like how I formulate that's like my system, okay, and we do it by zip codes. But the main thing is, and this is where I tell people that they're leaving money on the table, is people are not following up. Okay, when the people say I'm not interested now, like the techniques that I teach you guys, when you go in and you ask to speak to the decision maker and you run into the receptionist, or the gatekeeper, as I like to call it. When you ask them, is it okay if I call back, or if I stop by in the next 3 months or in the next quarter? A lot of you guys are not following up with that. I've talked to a lot of people and I say, hey, when the last time you did, door knocking, for an example? And they'll say, well, I do door knocking, you know, every day or every other day or whatever the case is, 3 times a week or whatever their schedule is. And I'll say, wow, okay, cool. How long have you been doing it? They say, oh man, I've been doing it for about 4 months, 5 months now. Well, how many accounts have you gotten out of that? To be honest, Fabio, I haven't gotten anything. I say, oh wow, 5 months, you haven't gotten anything. I say, have you done any walkthroughs? No, I haven't done any walkthroughs. That let me know, because if you hit it hard as fuck, dude, you guys will be able to nail at least some walkthroughs. That's the least that you want to be able to do, is get the walkthroughs. Okay, because without the walkthroughs, you won't get the client. You have to know what they need done, right? You have to know what they need done. Following up is paramount. So for the people that say that tell me, hey, I haven't, I've been doing it for 5 months, I haven't gotten any traction, I haven't gotten any clients, I haven't gotten any walkthroughs. I'm not sure that maybe you need to pick up some more days in terms of getting out there, right? It's some people that say, well, you know what, I kind of get tired. It's tiring walking, Fabio, from building to building to building to building. I'm so worn out. I'm so tired that I just revert back to the phones, right? Again, you have to build yourself a system. You have to give yourself a chance. You cannot give up. And a lot of you folks are giving up because you don't get that traction maybe the first 30 days. How long did I tell you guys it took me to get my very first account? How long did it take me to get my very first account? I told you guys I wanted to get and this was back in 2012. I told you guys I wanted to get my first account in the first 60 days. And I wound up getting it my first 90 days. So somewhere between 60 and 90, I got my very first account. Now, I have people that's been on my subscription list here on YouTube, and they've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 accounts within the first 30 days. So that's how I know the information I'm sharing here absolutely worked. Now, if I would have had a Fabio that I can listen to, in depth and it kind of trained me and kind of that I could kind of model myself after, back in 2012, that probably would have been a lot better. But I was through trial and error, right? I wasn't really hitting it every day. I was every other day, but because I was hitting so many buildings, I felt like I was doing work. And then it was really cold, 2012 of February was cold, so that was a factor, right? I told you guys I started with the phones. I didn't get no traction with the phones at all. Then I jumped out in the field. I started going door to door. I didn't get the contracts in the time frame that I want. I almost gave up between the first 30 and the first 60 days. I really did, because I didn't get no freaking contracts, and that's what I was going after. I was knocking doors and they were throwing me out just as soon as I came in. I couldn't even warm up fast enough, just being in the cold, right? Hey, how's it going, Serene? I couldn't even warm up fast enough. I go in, figure out who I'm supposed to talk to. They say, oh, we're okay. We clean in-house. We don't need any help right now. Do you have a business card? Here, we give you a business card. Hey, give us a call back in 6 months. Hey, give us a call back next year. Hey, we only do contracts, at the end of the year. Give us a call back at the end of the year. Give us a call back at the top. Man, they were throwing me out quick as shit, right? So I sympathize with you. I understand the frustration. But I would not be where I'm at today in my business had I given up. Okay, so I know this video kind of all over the place, and I do want to stick to the points here. But like I say, the fact of the matter is you guys have to find something that works for you in terms of your marketing, and you have to stick to it. Okay, you have to give yourself like a little campaign. Do not give up on your campaign. Okay, because had I gave up like I was really close to doing in the early on stages, I wouldn't have made it to the going close to 90 days if I would have given up in the first 60 days. But I was determined. I'm like, man, I know I can get at least one small account somewhere. A dentist's office, a doctor's office, a chiropractor's office, a law firm, a realtor's office. Man, I know I can get at least one account somewhere. But it was treacherous. Like I said, I was in the snow. With the climate across the country the way it is now, you guys, is hot from coast to coast, or at least warm from coast to coast. This is the opportune time, you guys. You got spring. I think they say the first day of summer's tomorrow, whatever, right? You got summer. It's hot. The climate is good, man. Just first, be hydrated. We don't want you to pass out. Second, take advantage of this weather. Because I tell people, like I told people last year if you watch some of my last year videos, in the summertime, man, if you take advantage and you really kill it, right? You really, really hone in and you kill it for the entire summer, you can set yourself up to make yourself an absolute fortune. You could be making $10, $12, $13, $14,000. That's not exaggerated. And that's just on a small base. You can actually be making that month after month after month, right? If you just kill it through the whole summer, just building your contracts up. So by the time fall time creep in and the winter time creep in, you might be more relaxed. You might say, you know what, I'm going to fall back. Especially areas in the Midwest. You got Ohio, Michigan, your Pennsylvania areas, Philly. These are some of the places that get really, really cold. You know what I'm saying? I know the South, they kind of get cold, but not as like in the Midwest region, right? Or the up north region, right? Your Montanas, you know, your Dakotas and stuff like that, right? So, like I said, man, if you guys kill it the entire summer, you can somewhat relax a little bit in your fall and winter, time, your seasons, your fall and winter seasons. Okay, I'm not saying quit marketing. My favorite's cold calling by far, February, and I'm up 15K a month. See, I love Eric. Eric is a great story. I've talked to Eric. He's man, and he hasn't been doing it for a very long. He has not been doing it for a very long time. I've had one-on-ones with him. Eric is phenomenal. He's up 15K a month. I have Shara Pop. You guys heard me talk about her story. She's up. I wouldn't say what her actual figures is, but she's between $10,000 and $20,000 monthly. Between $10,000 and $20,000 monthly. She's also in Michigan, right? So I mean, Eric, he's I'll say I won't say his actual location. He's in VA, if I remember correctly, up 15,000 again. And he told me, Fabio, just watching your videos, just watching your videos. But he understands you have to systematically set this thing up. He said cold calling worked for him. So maybe he was watching some of my cold calling videos, but he might be in a certain area in the country where cold calling worked. Whereas maybe if you guys watching me from Chicago or something like that, and you say, you know what, cold calling isn't working for me out here, man, then again, and that's what I say, you have to try this thing out as a campaign, you guys. You can't give up on it, right? So if he's in VA and it's working terrific for him, cold calling and stuff like that, right? Then that's good, right? He found his area of expertise, right? He's working the phones. He's doing what he have to do. He's getting his bookings. He's doing his walkthroughs and things like that. Again, I called the hospitals and the gatekeeper told me, yeah, you're gonna get that a lot, dude. You're gonna get that a lot. How would you handle doing it? Just ask them, simply put, you're not selling them anything. When you call, all you want to do is set up an appointment to come in and do a walkthrough. Okay, so you just ask them. If they say, well, we do it in the house, you say, okay, that's fine. Would it be okay if I call you back the next quarter to see if you guys, were interested at that time? Or, can I call you back in the next 3 months to see if you guys, where you were at with it, if you're interested in a company at that time? And most definitely, almost inevitably, they're going to tell you, yeah, just give us a call. Here's our card. Just give us a call, right? Now, they might still be doing it in-house in the next 3 months or the next 4 months or whatever the case is. But that's where people are falling off. People not calling back. They're not doing any follow-ups. They're saying what I tell them to say, but they're not following up. For people, like I said, to go back to the person that was like, hey, I've been doing it for 5 months. I haven't gotten any traction. I haven't gotten an account. I haven't gotten nothing. And then I ask them, hey, did you follow up on any phone calls? And they say, no, I haven't. I say, well, did you follow up on any, door-to-door activity that you did over the last? Have you reached back out to them? No, I haven't. Well, it might be time to follow up, right? Because they may have been meaning to call you and just haven't called you yet. They might have lost your business card, right, that you gave them. They may be in the market looking for a cleaning company right now. So if you guys watching my video right now and it's been 3 to maybe 6 months since you spoke to people that you reached out to originally, with the last 3 months or 6 months ago, right? So it might be time for you to do some follow-ups to see where they're at, okay? It might be time for you guys to follow up because you could be what I consider leaving money on the table, okay? The same thing like when people put in applications and stuff like that. I talk to my nephews and people all the time. They say, man, I can't get hired. Ain't nobody hiring me. I say, well, have you been calling? Have you been calling, checking on the process, or checking on your application to see? Let me see. 1 second, I got you, Serene. Have you called and followed up in your application? No, man. They said they was gonna call me back. That's not the way it works in this new millennium. That's not the way it works in this society today, you guys. And when you put your resume in, you don't just put your resume in and you just wait. When you put your application in, you don't put your application in and wait. You have to follow up and, be constant, because see, they're getting applications every single day, right? So somebody might get hired and get your spot because you neglect to follow up, right, on your application or follow up on your resume. Same thing, you guys. I just use that as that same thing. If you ask them, is it okay to call them back the next quarter of the year? Then make a note on the business card or on your paperwork or on your log sheet or however you log in and tracking things. Make a note and then reach back out to them. Reach back out to them the next quarter like you asked. Reach out to them the next 3 months like you asked, right? Or however long, the next 6 months like you asked. Reach back out to them. You guys are leaving money on the table. You'll be amazed at how many people that you spoke to originally that wasn't into your, needing your service at the time. You'll be amazed at how many people would actually need your service now and told you no and turned you down in the very beginning. Okay, now let me answer this question here. Can you give an example on how you sell yourself when you have an opportunity to meet with a potential account? Do you make a different offers depending on how the meeting goes? Okay, now let's talk about meeting the decision maker. What do you say? Okay, so when you meet the decision maker, first thing first, and hopefully you guys writing this down, and this is, again, only my opinion. Can I hire and pay them on commission? Commission is when they make a sale. And then you pay them off of that sale. So if they selling you something, that would be more of a canvasser. That would be more of a salesman. So if they're going door to door to get accounts for you, yeah, perhaps you can pay them like that if that's something that they agree upon. So if you have somebody canvassing the areas and doing your door knocking for you, and you say you set it up with them, you say, hey, I'm going to pay you according to the contract you helped me get into, then sure, you can pay them like that. Be careful with that and make sure you have them on the right paperwork, because a lot of times those type of people, not everybody, but a lot of times those type of people steal the whole contract, the whole account. So your paperwork is paramount. The contract that you put them under. Okay, it's paramount. Okay, and you're gonna hear me talk a lot about paperwork because it's very, very important. But let me get back to this other question. Okay, so when you meet the decision maker, essentially what you need to know from the decision maker is what he or she need done in that facility. What he or she need done in that facility. So you have to do the walkthrough. Okay, you let them do the majority of the talking. You taking notes. Now, what I like to do, man, as we do a walkthrough, I might see a ledge that's dusty, and I might go and, they might be showing me something over there, and I'm walking by, and as we approach, this corner over there, I might walk past the edge, swipe it with my hand, and I kind of wipe it on my shirt. I did that as a technique before, number one, to show them that maybe whoever they have cleaning their company, they haven't done the ledges in a minute, right? Or they haven't dust in a minute. Because some of these people actually have companies already here, and it looks clean on the surface, right? But they don't go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Certain things, as a janitor or commercial cleaner, certain things you look out for immediately when you walk into the building. It's just certain things you notice, right? You've been trained to get an eye for it, especially after you've been doing this. So I'll walk by a ledge, maybe like a windowsill ledge, or on a cubicle or something, and you can tell it just haven't been dusted down. Wipe it right on my shirt where they can see it, right there. Now look at my hand, and they see you do this when you can just kind of wipe it, right? So they're in their mind, they're processing it like, whoa, why is it dust like that? We have a cleaner in house, right? So, but this is a tactic that I like to use that help my sales, my selling, position. Okay, so it may not work all the time, you guys, but that's something that I like to do, because I like to show them that maybe on the surface they looking at it and think it's really clean, but on the surface it might not be as clean as they think it is, right? Wipe it right there on my shirt so they can see it. Okay, but like I said, when you go on and you talk to the decision maker, you need to figure out what they need from you, what they need done. Okay, you want to ask them what's their problem areas. You know, a lot of people, they have their problem areas, whether it's the restroom, whether it's the kitchen or the cafeteria area, or whether it's the dusting aspect. They have their problem areas. These are the areas that maybe other cleaning companies haven't been paying attention to, or ignoring, or haven't been cleaning to their satisfaction. Okay, so you do want to concentrate on their problem areas, because that's the only reason that you're kind of in the building, that they're giving you a walkthrough, that they're even looking for another cleaning company, because of their problematic areas, the areas where they have problems at. Okay, or some of these companies might not have a cleaning company, period. So that's a good thing, right? That's a good situation for you in that regard. But you want to figure out what they need done. Never quote them on the spot, even if you know what you're going to charge them. Never quote them on the spot. I learned that as a lesson. I've gotten accounts that way, right? And I bit myself in the ass, right? Because after a walkthrough, I needed to go back and really analyze these numbers and see, because there's a lot that goes into the quote. It's not just what you do. You have to decide for your company what's extra and what's just general cleaning. General cleaning coming with the general price. Extra work could take more time, so you want to charge more for that. That's another way that people leave money on the table. They do general cleaning and give them a general price for extra work, right? So that's why you're so tired, and that's why you're so beat up, and then you have to leave this account and go to another account, right? When you could have been at that account, you know, an extra hour ago, right? But you got to spend more time in this account, right? And you're not being really, pretty much sad to say that you're not really being compensated for that. Okay, so you want to make sure you write everything up. That's why I tell people, even if you know what you're going to charge for any given account, you want to walk out of there and you want to really take it home and sit down at the table and really think about it based on the notes that you collect from your walkthrough. You want to find out the square footage. You want to find out how many days per week they need it clean, right? You want to find out the extents to the extents to the cleaning, right? What they need done. Then you have to decide what's regular in terms of when you write it up, write your estimate up. You have to figure out what's like a general cleaning or regular cleaning, and what's extra. What your company consider extra, what your company would charge extra for. Okay, because in their mind, we need this, 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 right? They're not thinking about this is extra, but this is how you have to think, because it's going to take you longer to clean that facility, right? Who do you talk to about business contracts? Okay, I'm just starting out. Who you talk to? You might want to watch some of my older videos, Kiki, but I'll go ahead and tell you right here. When you say, who do you talk to about contracts? You have your own contract, you know, available. You know, sometimes some companies do have a contract that they want you to sign. You know, I've heard people, you know, talk to people a lot. They say, well, they had their own contract they wanted me to sign. If you feel comfortable with signing somebody else's contract, sign it. You know, if you agree to it. Okay, but for the most part, you want to, generally speaking, they want you to have your own agreement. They look forward to online portal accept. Okay, Kevin, I see you. 1 second. They look forward to you having your own agreement. I like to call it agreement and not a contract. A contract sounds like something that I wouldn't want to sign. An agreement sounds more of a handshake. People are more willing to use that word, more willing to sign an agreement, you know. But you should have the agreement, and the person that you're going to talk to about that agreement and the specifics of that agreement is the decision maker at that particular account, whatever account that is. So that's who you're going to talk to about the agreement or contract, if that's the word you want to use. You're going to talk to the decision maker, but you have your own agreement. You have that drawn up, you know, however you do it, you have that, you know, you have your own agreement, okay? And then you take that to them, right, when it's time for them to sign it. Just like your proposal, you know, when you go to put your proposal, your estimate, your quote, whatever you want to call it, when you go to put those, to give them those numbers, You have your own template. You have your own layout. However you lay it out or whatever you decide to do, you have your own layout, your own format, and then you turn that in to the decision maker. Okay, try, and like I say, when I take my quote in, because I take mine in. Some people ask me, Fabio, should I email the quote or should I fax it and this and this and that. I don't like to do it that way because they swear up and down they didn't get the fax. They swear up and down that they didn't get the email. On my end, it said it's sent, it went through. On their end, they say, oh, I checked my trash, I checked everything, I don't see it. Can you resend it? Now it's a waiting game. I got their attention now, but then if I resend it, I might not hear back from them for another 3 days or so. So I like to take it in, and the reason being is because we have this document right here, right in front of both of us. If you want to take a minute, you can read over it, and if you have any questions about it, I can go ahead and answer it for you right here, right while I'm right in front of you. That'll help me speed up the process because first is putting your numbers in, next is giving them the contract or the agreement, depending on what term you want to use, right? Having them sign the agreement, figuring out when they want you to start. That's where a lot of people mess up right there too, you guys. If you just joining me, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Door to door. How do you plan on what the specifics area you go to? In other words, what is the most effective way to plan door to door? Well, the way I used to back in the day, I used to plan it out the night before. I used to structure my whole day the day prior. Okay, so let's say tonight. No problem, Kiki. Let's say tonight I will be structuring my day. If I was way back then, I will be structuring my day tonight. Fabio is the greatest. Thank you, BP. I will be structuring my day tonight for tomorrow. Okay. So let's take Detroit. Let's take when I first started. When I first started, right, it was terrible. It was terrible. I didn't have really no idea where to start. All I knew was I needed some money, I needed some contracts, and I just went where I thought I can go. And that's where I messed up. So then what I did, you don't necessarily have to do this, Tony, but this is what I did. I bought a city map of Detroit. Now I had different areas and different, zip codes and things. So I broke everything down systematically because I mean, you in Detroit, I think you're in Detroit, you know how it's broken down to, right? So I started 5 miles. I think I was on the west at the time. 5 miles west of me. I will go 5 miles west, 5 miles south, 5 miles north, 5 miles east of me, and then I will branch out further to 10 and 15. I will go out that way, right? But according to my map that I have, like I said, if you buy that map, the city map, you can find them in the gas stations, the bookstores, and things like that. You buy that map, you open a big map up. It has different zip codes in different areas. That has the streets. You look at the map, you're like, okay, I'm familiar with that street. So I would kind of highlight my area and I would kind of work it from there. And then what I would do is go to the phone book. I started there before I started using the online yellow pages, right? And then I would kind of put it together like by zip code. So I will put in dentist office, for an example, Detroit or whatever, and then I will put in 48238 or whatever, the zip code is, right? And then everything will populate in that zip code. So then I'm like, okay, this is whatever this is. If this is the zip code I'm in, then this will be in my immediate area. This is something that's close to me because it populated in my area, right? So you will actually get what's in your area first, and then as you guys know, like if you on yellowpages.com or whatever the case is, you're going to start seeing other areas that's going to populate. But your immediate area is going to be the first shebang. It's going to be the top, in your immediate area, and then it's automatically going to branch you out to other cities and other zip codes and things like that. So that's kind of how I geared it off, doing it in the very, very beginning, because like I said, when I first started, man, I was just going anywhere. I was just thinking of stuff in my head, kind of writing it down, and that wasn't productive enough for me. So I had to have a system the way I did it, especially in 2012, man. In February, it was cold as shit, right? So I was out, knocking doors, and I was going into businesses that probably would never even have a cleaning company, but I was just going in there because I'm like, I don't know, maybe they might decide that they need a cleaner. So I will walk into the building. Like I say, I had to start figuring things out and becoming more strategic, which is what I share with you guys now on how to do it. But that's how it would work for me, right? Like I said, I got a map of the city. I broke it down to sections by zip code. I started in my zip code, and then I went to neighboring zip codes. And then I started going from, different neighboring zip codes within my city till I started going to suburbs. So I started hitting Westland and Novi and Ecorse and River Rouge, and which are all, if you guys from the area, you guys know those are suburban areas, Lincoln Park, and certain areas around my area. Okay, I was West Side then. These are like West Side suburban areas, downriver, southwest areas of the city, and then I started branching out east. Now I wasn't too familiar with the east. Yes, I feel you. I just opened my cleaning business so much to learn. Yeah, yeah. But you'll learn it. All you have to do is to stay consistent and stay persistent. Don't give up. It's gonna take time. You're not gonna get it overnight, right? But that's how Tony, hopefully I answered your question, but that's how I started breaking it down, right? I used that map, and I used the heck out of yellowbook.com, yellowpages.com. Yep, yep. Not a problem, dude. Not a problem. Good luck with it. Let me know. Shoot me an email. Let me know how it turns out for you. Okay? Just break it down into sections. Break it down into sections. Even if you don't get a map, just start with the the yellowbook.com. Just go to yellowbook.com, yellowpages.com, right? It's going to say, you're going to put in, let's say, chiropractor. It's going to ask you for the city. You're going to put Detroit. And then I don't know what zip code you're in, and then you're going to put 48, whatever, whatever your zip code is. It's going to populate there. You can start calling from the screen. Or if you're familiar with where it is, you can just actually go to that address. Okay, you can just do a door knock, go to that address, and use the same type of pitch that I teach you here on YouTube. You come up to the gatekeeper, you say, "Hello, I'm Tony such and such with such and such cleaning company." Now you're talking to the gatekeeper. Now, who would I talk to in regards to commercial cleaning for the facility? At that point, they might tell you, "Well, we currently clean in-house," or whatever the case is. You say, "Great, not a problem. Would it be okay if I try back in the next 60 days, 30, 90 days, or next quarter?" And say, "Sure, not a problem." "Okay, great. I'll take a business card here. What's your name?" "Oh, my name is Melissa." You're going to write Melissa's name down on the front of the business card. Again, you guys, I've said this so many times, so you know it. This is the way I operate, because I tell you the same way all the time, right? Take the business card, write Melissa's name down. Melissa. Then you might put GK, short for gatekeeper, right? I always put my little initials where I know who is who. And then you ask Melissa, quick question, who would I talk to in regards to commercial cleaning? Who is the appropriate person that handled that here? You might say, Mark Smith. You say, okay, great. On the back side of the card, the white part of the card, I'll say Mark Smith, contact person. On the front part of the card, I write Melissa GK, or Melissa reference, or whatever, gatekeeper, Melissa receptionist, or whatever the case is. That way I know who is who. Okay, I talked to Melissa, she's the receptionist. Okay, and I need to talk to Mark Smith. That's my contact person. That's the person that handles hiring and firing and stuff like that for contracts. And the reason being is because when you do call them back the next quarter, they're going to ask you, how were you referred to me? Who told you have to talk to me? Then that's when you're going to drop Melissa Jackson or whatever, right? And say, oh yeah, Melissa Jackson, that's our receptionist. Okay, great person, great person. Now you're going to kind of warm that lead up a little bit. Let me see. All this game for free. Please leave a like, people. Thank you. Please like this, you guys, and share the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now you warm that lead up. For an example, if I needed to get my car fixed, and I'm going to take Tony for an example. And Tony told me to go to, well, hell, let's just use Tony Express, which is a local guy in Detroit, Tony Express. He does brakes. So Tony said, well, Fabio, I get my brakes done at Tony Express. Uh, just go there and tell him Tony referred you, Tony R, or whatever he might know Tony as, right? So I go there and I say, uh, hello, is Tony available? I need to talk to Tony. I was referred to Tony to get brakes done. Now I'm kind of warming up this my lead with this guy, because if he thought to do me something wrong, right? Or if he thought to do me, hey, yep, hey Lamar, if he thought to play a game with me, or do me wrong, now that he knows Tony, he's gonna second guess that because of my relationship with Tony, right? So he's gonna treat me a certain way. Yeah, man, I know Tony. Tony get his breaks done here all the time, man. Yeah, great guy, great guy. So you know Tony? Yeah, well, yeah, Tony. He's a fantastic guy. Like the guy, he brings his car here all the time for service. We do his brakes all the time. So after you get past that, he's gonna deal with you a little differently, right? Tony, the business owner, Tony Express, he's gonna deal with you a little differently. Yeah, man. Actually, you can just pull right in here. Our guys will be with you shortly, right? So then when he do my breaks, you know, you're gonna say, tell Tony I said thanks for the referral, thanks for sending you over here, right? Because of the relationship Tony have with Tony. You guys see what I'm saying? So it's the same way. It's the same way when you with the gatekeeper. And this is just for me, guys. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm totally this cleaning God or nothing like this. This is what's worked for me. You might go to another subscriber and they might tell you something different. One thing I like about this industry, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just being strategic how you do it, right? So this is what works for me. So when I tell you to write Melissa, you know, Jackson on the front of the card, it's a reason for that, because I found it to help me, where I can just lean back on Melissa when I need to. So when I make that follow-up phone call in 3 months or the next quarter, or when I stop back in, you know, whenever that for 3 months next quarter, I could still lean on Marissa or Melissa, whatever name I say. I could still lean on Melissa, you know, in terms of that was my initial contact person. So when I meet Mark, shake his hand, hey, Mark, yeah, you know, you might right off the bat, yeah, Mark, I was referred to you by Melissa. When I say I was referred to you by Melissa, that's automatically going to resonate with Mark. Melissa, okay, she's our receptionist. He may think that I know Melissa personally because I said I was referred to him by Melissa. Now, I didn't say Melissa was my ex-girlfriend. I know her personally. I just said I was referred to you by Melissa. So in his head, he's going to think, okay, he might know Melissa. Well, we're going to give him a chance. We're going to hire him. It's worked for me, guys. This is just a strategic way that I've used, and it worked for me. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. Hopefully it worked for you guys, but again, when you lean on that receptionist person or that gatekeeper person, you establish rapport with them. Okay, you be courteous to them. You be nice to them, because he might go back to Melissa and say, Melissa, what do you think about Fabio? Oh, he was awesome. Guy was professional when he came in. He looked the part, and he handled me professionally. You know, some people look down on the decision on the gatekeeper because they know that that's not the person that they need to talk to get hired. But if you eventually work for that company, you're going to see Melissa a lot. You're going to bump into her. That might be the person that you have to pick your check up from, right? So you don't want her to, and sometimes it is. You know, they leave the check at the front desk. Hey, the cleaning company is going to come. Here's the check. When Fabio get here, just give him the check. You know, you come in, hey, Melissa. Hey, how's it going, Fabio? You here for your check? I love that. They'd be more excited to give me the money than I am when I walk in, right? They give you the envelope, right? Or they give you the check, right? So I'm telling you that a lot of times this is what happens, because I pick up the check. You know, I clean in the evening, but I pick up the check in the daytime. I try to get all the checks around the same time all the time, right? So again, be respectful to the gatekeeper. Okay, don't frown upon the gatekeeper. I'm just telling you, this is my way of doing it. It works for me, and I'm hoping by sharing it with you guys, if you use it the way I use it, it should work for you. That's just what I'm thinking. Okay, but like I say, a lot of people are leaving money on the table in terms of not doing those follow-up phone calls. Let me see, did somebody ask me something here? If the facility is small and priced at the right spot, why wouldn't you do it? Right, right. I agree. So much. I'm so much subscribed to your channel. Thank you, Kiki. I hope you do. I hope you do. Let me see. I just want to make sure I caught everybody questions here. I feel you. Fabio's the greatest here. Let me see here. I'm glad I caught this live. Thanks. Yeah. Let me see. All this game, please. Right. Like. Yep. Yep. So, I don't want you guys. Again, here's the thing. Before you do any marketing, this is only my suggestion. And it might feel like it's slowing you down. It might feel like it's taking you even longer. But get your paperwork together. Fabio, what do you mean? The paperwork. Here's what I feel like you need to have. Okay? Here's what I feel like you need to have. Listen to me. Write this stuff down. A non-compete agreement. A non-disclosure agreement. Application. An invoice. A proposal sheet or proposal spreadsheet, you know, to draw your numbers up on, to draw your proposal up on, okay? And an agreement, okay? That's just to start off. That's just to start off. You might, you know, need more paperwork for other things, but just to start off, you need at least those documents. That's going to help you early on, okay? Like timesheets and other stuff like that. You can get as you grow. Hell, you can buy timesheets. You can, you know, you can go to Staples and get time cards. Some people ask me, is time cards better than timesheets? You know, it just depends on the business person, right? If you want to do a time card, then obviously you're going to have a time clock, right? You can buy a time clock off of Amazon. You know, the fancier ones is more pricier, but they don't have to be that fancy. All you need them to do is be able to stamp the time, right? The time in, time out, that type of thing. Okay. Excuse me. So it don't have to be the most fancy. Okay. But that's really what your paperwork consists of early on. Okay. You do want to have, you know, unless depending on how your agreement is structured and set up, you do want to have a separate agreement for vendors or subcontractors, because you want to put them under some type of agreement. Okay, they're not working for you; they're subcontracted, they're vendors. Okay, so you have to put them under some type of agreement. You don't want to leave it open where they steal your client. Like you hire a carpet cleaning company, they figure like, man, I'm cleaning the carpet, shit, I can do the cleaning here, and then they come in and undercut you. So you want to put them under the agreement. You want to put them under a like a non-compete agreement. Okay, so you want to make sure you have it locked down. If you can word it right in your subcontractor agreement, okay, which is a different agreement that you have. Like in my agreement, everything is just structured under the one agreement. So the same agreement I give to my client is the same agreement that I can give to my vendor, to my subcontractor, right? Because the way I have it structured. But if you guys just have just a basic general agreement, right, then you might want to use, you know, a secondary agreement for your subcontractors once you have them start doing subcontracting work for you. Okay, if you guys plan on hiring like a mom and pop or just somebody that you're gonna 1099, right? You're independent contractors, right? They're not employees of yours, so that means you're not taking taxes out. You're just gonna, if you owe them $300, you're just gonna give them a $300 check, right? And you're gonna 1099 them. Again, you want to make sure you have them sign that agreement and sign that that non-compete, you know, agreement. You just want to make sure that you have it really locked down. Okay, I know all too well. I know all too well where subcontractors, and you guys might have heard my story on some of the other videos where subcontractors that come under and undercut your business and try to steal your business. Okay, I gave you guys the story 1,000,001 times where a guy that we were doing business with, it was an outside vendor. He tried to come in and steal the account, right? I let the client know, hey, remember you signed this. I had to highlight it, show them, you know, here's the fines and things like that. And then I sent that same agreement, a copy of that same agreement, highlighted, showed them, they immediately call it and they retract what they tried to do, right? So they in other words, they pull it out. They didn't try me, okay, because of the way the agreement was set up. So, again, and you guys learn this as you go along, just like I did, right? You have to be strategic because this could be a very, very cutthroat industry. It can be very cutthroat. You have to make sure you trust who you're getting in bed with, who you hiring, in terms of your employees, who you hire in terms of your subcontractors. Okay, you want to be the medium, the middleman for the subcontractor and the client. So if you need a carpet cleaning job doing it and you're not doing it yourself, you're not doing it in-house, you're subbing the work out, then you want to make sure that you handle the deal. You don't let them come and talk to the contractor. You don't let the contractor talk to your client, okay? Because when they start getting friendly, when they start having words, that might be a estimate waiting on their desk, right? When you allow them to meet each other and them to handle business with each other, that person can easily slide under you, right? That'll be an agreement. The next thing you know, they put in a 30-day notice with you and say, hey, we no longer need your service. And I know, again, I didn't really expect to talk about this part on this video, but I just want to help you guys. I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is possible. So you got to be careful with who you get in bed with in terms of your subcontractors, your vendors, your independent contractors, whatever you want to call them, your employees. You want them to sign a non-compete and a non-disclosure. Okay? You want to have them sign a non-compete and a non-disclosure. You don't want them to be able to compete with you, right? Steal your contract and start competing with you. You don't want them to be able to disclose it, even though you can't really regulate it and really enforce it too much, but it kind of put fear. Especially being an employee, kind of put fear in them where they don't talk about it because they're afraid of what the repercussions will be. Okay, so, but that's one thing that's hard to regulate. Okay, let me see. But like I say, have your paperwork together before you really go head first into the marketing. Okay, you get your paperwork together, you get that, because you have to think of and you have to be in the mindset that I could walk into this building tomorrow on a door-to-door situation, cold calling, whatever you want to call it. Some people call door-to-door cold calling. I can walk in on a door-to-door situation and get a contract, right? That's where your mindset have to be. Well, what if they decide to hire me, right? What if they say, hey, put the numbers in, whatever you put in, we're going to go with you. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you might walk in and they want a number today and they want you to start today. I've been in situations like that. You're like, whoa. Now you might have 3 other contracts lined up, but sometimes they might be in dire need. Again, that's why I tell people to stay consistent and stay persistent. Knock doors, knock doors, knock doors every single day. There's times where I would do it every other day early on, and then I will go into it that next following day and they would tell me, oh my gosh, we just hired a company 2 days ago, and I know 2 days I wasn't in the field. I might be like, fuck, man, I'm kicking myself in the butt for it because I didn't go out that day, right? I didn't door knock that day, but I went in their facility 2 days late, right? So now they just hired a company, and I'm thinking like, shit, this could have been my work. And sometimes it happens. It happens. So all you can do at that point is say, okay, well, could I follow up with you in the next quarter to see how you're liking your current cleaner, see how you're feeling about your current cleaner. You give them a business card, you take their business card, and you proceed. Is there a particular time that is ideal to do door knocking? My door knocking times is different than my cold calling times. My cold calling times, and you would think that it would coincide with each other, seeing that I think it's very difficult to reach a decision maker over the phone. But my door knocking, I would work there like a whole 8-hour shift, dude. To be honest, like I'll be out there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, knocking doors. Around lunchtime, I will take a quick, maybe 30-minute, get a bite to eat, to rejuvenate myself, get my energy levels back up, have a coffee, whatever the case is. Take a 30-minute lunch, right? And then I'll be right back at it. right back at it, and then I'm done by 5 o'clock. I will go all the way up to generally 5 o'clock, generally not past 5 though. I will kind of cut it off anywhere between 4 and 5. So, and the thing is afternoon, I'm already expecting that I'm not going to reach the decision maker, but I still need to get that I still need to meet that gatekeeper. I want to be able to touch that gatekeeper. I need him or her to see me. I need him or her to be able to talk to me. So afternoon, I'm already inclined to believe that I'm probably not going to reach. And sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes you'll reach. You'll reach. That's why I tell people, even if they call after 12 noon, we don't call after 12 noon. But I'm not saying that it's totally impossible that you're not going to reach the decision maker after 12 noon. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I don't call after 12 noon, right? Or I don't have I should say my people call after 12 noon, because it's really hard to get a hold to them, whether they're in the office or not. After lunch, man, everybody just trying to slide all the way to it. It's time to slide home, right? They're not really trying to deal with a lot of people. Okay, they ain't got stuff, they ain't got food, they ain't got kind of relaxed. They just trying to skate all the way to it's time to go home, right? They're really not trying to deal with a lot of people. What about the weekends? The weekends is good. The chance of you meeting the decision maker is probably slim unless it's a professional facility, like you're dealing with a dentist. Then the main dentist, he might be working because he's doing dental work, or a doctor or a lawyer. Like if it's a professional building like that, a lot of times you're probably going to still meet their assistants or the receptionists and different people like this. But there's a slight chance that you might meet the decision maker. Now, he or she will probably tell you to come back Monday, because this is normal business hours. Really, this, the weekends is more relaxed, if you will. So they might tell you, yeah, we're interested. Here's my business card. Give me a call Monday, or just come back up here Monday by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or whatever the case is. Then you just take the business card, Tony, make a note, talk to doctor such and such. You said return 10 o'clock Monday, right? Whatever, however you write it down. And then you just return back up there. It's only a day or so difference, right? So he's going to remember you. Hey, how's it going? Yes, it's Tony. Hi, Tony. Then he'll be able to talk to you, walk you through everything, and show you this and show you that, what he needs you to do. But like I say, on the weekends, I'm not a big fan of going on the weekends, but that don't mean it's impossible. The places that I would normally kind of go to, like on a Sunday, is churches, if I was going after churches. Sunday is even more difficult than Saturday, right? Because a lot of businesses close early, so you have to get out early, or they don't open at all. They close on Sundays. Some buildings, it just depends on the facility that you go to, right? So you have to get out a little early if you have to get out a little early if you expect to perhaps meet the decision maker on a Sunday. But churches is a prime place to go on Sunday, because it's kind of hard a lot of times to reach the decision maker for a church during the week. Some churches are open because they got administration area. Just because they don't have service don't mean that they're open, but they kind of make up their own hours. Like might say we open from such and such and such and such, but a lot of times they may not even be there, right? But you can for sure meet somebody in administration or the pastor or whoever the decision maker is on a Sunday, if you just kind of handle it that way. Now you have to be strategic how you go in. You can't go in the middle of service and expecting to meet it. But maybe if you find out what time service is over and people starting to go home, a lot of times the pastor, assistants, and people like this, they stay after because they want to straighten up and they got paperwork to do in the office portion and the administration portion. This is what I learned, and that's how I've been able to get like churches. So I don't have a lot of churches, but that's how I've been able to get churches. Okay. So hopefully this helped you guys, man. I'm giving you the ultimate sauce, if you will. I do want you guys to make it. Have your paperwork together. Paperwork is absolutely paramount. Without it, you're going to be frowned upon as unprofessional, because if they say, yes, we need a quote today by 5 o'clock this evening, and you don't even have a template, it puts your mind in a space where you make a decision that you probably wouldn't make, like wouldn't normally make. It puts you in a mind that, OMG, where in the fuck, where am I gonna get this estimate form from? Where am I gonna get this, right? Like, how am I going to write this stuff up? I get so many people, they get caught like that. Even though I say paperwork, paperwork, have your paperwork, have your paperwork, have your paperwork, have your paperwork. I tell them, have your paperwork, have your paperwork. I can say that a million times on the video. People won't have the paperwork, and then they call me. Oh my fucking God. Fabio, I'm fucking freaking out. They'll contact my assistant and be like, have Fabio call me ASAP, all caps. Have him call me. My number is such and such and such and such. And then it'll get over to me, so I give him a call. Hey, how's it going, such and such? Fabio, oh my fucking God, dude. I was watching your video, and I got a contract, but I don't have no fucking paper. Where do I get paperwork from? What do I do? What? I'm looking at the phone like my guess is about as good as yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'll tell them, maybe try to hit the internet, or how do I know, like, what's good paperwork? How, like, they freaking out. I say, well, when do you have to turn it in by? When do you have to give your estimate by? They said they wanted the estimate today by 5 o'clock. Like, I wasn't expecting it, dude. I was watching your videos. You say go door to door, but I wasn't expecting them to, like, really. I was pretty much expecting them to tell me no, like, because people been telling me no. So, dude, where do I start? Like, where the fuck, So, and as many people, like I say, I'm like, well, at this time when I was offering my paperwork, I'm like, well, you can purchase mine because I sell mine, but if you want to look online, you might find it for free, and they might, how much do yours cost? Well, it costs, I don't have that much right now, man. Can you work a deal? And just out of emotion, because I know how they feel, I'll work a deal right there on the spot. I say, well, boom, is it a way because we normally mail it out. I say, hey, you look like you need this urgent, dude. You got a library somewhere, I can fax it to you. You pay for it, I fax it to you, and you have the paperwork. You'll be able to do this up. That's if they just want mine. You don't have to have it, but I told them go to Google. But how do I know if it's good paperwork? They under pressure. That's why I tell you guys to get that done first. Try to get all your forms done first. Get all your forms done. Like, all my forms everything is in folders. I can go right to it. The applications, my estimate breakdown sheet, my this, my that, my this, my that. I can go right to it because I keep copies of it. I don't freak out when they say, well, we need an estimate. Well, all I got to do is, have the assistant, I have somebody drop the estimate, I overlook it before it goes in. Boom, if I like it, if everything is written out right, if the pricing right, everything is good, based on the notes taken from the walkthrough, we turn that in. Boom. They say we need it before 5. I make sure they get it well before 5. I'm on it. If I can try to get it to them within an hour of talking to them, I try to get it back to them. So they know this guy is professional. This guy means business. Okay, we kind of like how this guy moved. He got this agreement in. He got the estimate or whatever the case is. If it's agreement, estimate, whatever, he got it in quickly. Okay, I like to do that because, like I say, man, when you waste time, you create space for somebody else to come in and take your position. Okay, so if you got the heads up, especially you're not on a bidding war. A bidding is when you go up against another party or parties. Putting in numbers trying to get this particular contract. But when you're putting in the estimate, you just, throw your estimate 9 times out of 10, you're not running up against anybody. You're just turning your numbers in. If they like your numbers, they're going to hire you. If they don't, they're not going to hire you. Or you can kind of work something out. Say, hey, this is what we charge, but how can we work this out for you? I can amend this, or I could maybe change something up. Reason is this price is because you guys had extra. You break it down. That's why I like to take it in instead of emailing it or instead of faxing it to them, right? Because I can explain if they don't understand something right there in their face. I can explain to it. Well, what this means is da 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 da. The breakdown here. This is for a 3 times a week cleaning, and this is what the price equate to here. As you see, there's no cost for a product cost because you guys said that you're going to handle the product. Right, so I break it down, right, to where they can understand. So they say, okay, yeah, I totally understand. Okay, great. Okay, well, they always use this. I'm gonna take the numbers. I'm gonna talk it over with my assistant or with whoever. We give you a call, in about a day or two. If you don't hear back from us, in 24 hours, give us a call back, or something like that. If you don't hear back in 24 or 48 hours, give us a call back. Okay, and I'm right on it. Right, I'm making note of it in my phone or whatever, or however I need to do it, and I'm right on it because I don't want to let too many days go by and then I lose my momentum, I'll lose my cool. Okay, so that's why I like taking the numbers in. Sometimes they look at the number and they know they want to hire you right away. And sometimes they look at the numbers and they say, well, we're gonna talk it over with somebody else. Let me see here. I have a small, less income. I need help. You need help? I don't know what you need help with. What you can do, Kiki, is you can email your name and number to bookfabiohart@gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. Just type out what you need help with and whatever. If you need to speak to me, you have to put your number in there because I don't email back, but my assistant will get that information over to me and I will personally call you and talk to you and try to help you out to the best of my ability. Let me see. What is it every fourth you reckon? Evolve say, what is every fourth you recommend us to have? What what is every fourth? What is every fourth you recommend us to have? I'm not understanding that part, Evolve. Try to reword that for me. Kiki say, let's say I had to clean a one bedroom, one bath. How much would I charge by the square foot? Well, it depends on the square feet and it depends on the detail of the cleaning. In this case, Kiki, what you're talking about is a residential space instead of a commercial space, which we do. We have more commercial contracts, but it depends on the square footage and the detail of the cleaning and how frequent the cleaning is. Most likely, it's probably going to be maybe a once a week or once every other week type of deal, right? I don't know too many residential that would do more than 2 days a week. You damn sure won't get an everyday cleaning unless you're working for some multi-millionaire type of person where they have a full staff and they want you there a lot, like every day in some type of mansion type of setting. Then you might have an everyday type of gig going that way. But other than that, you're probably just your regular home or whatever that you're going to do. It depends on the square footage and the detail of the cleaning. So that's what goes into place when you're going to charge them. Okay, it's quite a few factors. Again, I use that the same way as I do with commercial in terms of there's a general cleaning that you can do and then there's an extended cleaning that you can do or extra cleaning that you can do and you want to charge accordingly. Oh, the forms. You want to have a non-disclosure, a non-compete. Um, you want to have it like a bidding sheet or estimate sheet. Um, you want to have, I said non-disclosure, non-compete, estimate sheet. Um, you want to have a service agreement, and it seemed like it's one more form that I'm missing. Oh, and like an application. You want to have an application. These are like the ones that I kind of drive around with. I do have like my estimate breakdown sheet that's not necessary for you to have. Like in your vehicle, you don't necessarily have to have that. You can if you're gonna like try to formulate it while you're out. But generally speaking, I kind of take my numbers, maybe back home or you take it back to the office. You kind of work it from there. But to have on you, those five, I would say. So like a non-compete, non-disclosure, um, your agreement, your service agreement, your employee app, application as far as an employee. Yep, yep. And the reason I say you for your employees because like if you out and people see your decor of your car, you might have a magnet on your car, you might have your shirt with your logo and your name. People they're gonna assume number one that you're not the boss. Trust me, because when I wear mine and I'm out in the public, people say, "Oh, you work for them?" I say, "Yep, I work for them." Are you guys hiring? Do you know if they're hiring? I say, "Yep, they're always hiring." Do they have a number? Then that's when I give them the business card. I give them the business card, and a lot of times I have the application with me, right? I have applications in the vehicle. I said, "What? Do you have a minute? I can get your application right now." And they say, "Yeah, yeah." I go out to the car. Give them a business card and an application. You say, "Hey, fill this out in its entirety. As soon as you fill it out, give me a call." Okay, and then you could set up something and link back with them to go and sit and talk to them, right? You meet them somewhere. You don't have them come to your house, obviously, but you meet them somewhere. You pick up the application. You kind of look over it and give them a mini interview, right? Ask them a few questions. Are they currently working? Why they decide, why they want to work for you? What's their ultimate goal? You want to kind of get a good feel for the person that you're about to hire, okay? Because a good employee, is very, very important. It is a great asset to the business. A good employee, okay? And again, the same thing with employees. You're gonna have to pay the employees good. I was talking to a friend of mine who have a cleaning business, and the more he pay his people on a 1099, and the people that he have working for him, right? And this was unique when I talked to him the other day. The more contracts he get, the more they raise go up. So if he have, let's say, 3 people, and right now between the 3 people they cleaning, let's say, 6 buildings, then the more contracts he get and the more sites they pick up, the more they pay. He don't do it by the hour. He has a set dollar amount that he pays them per contract, and it works for him. Not a problem, Eval. Serene, do you offer the paperwork for residential cleaning business or for the apartment complex management? Residential, yeah, I have residential cleaning, paperwork, if you need it, you just email me, bookfabiohart@gmail.com, BOOKF like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART@gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. But far as the apartment complex, there's no special paperwork that you need for that. Well, I haven't found no special paperwork. But if you do go out and they say you need certain things, you can just hit me up or email me, and we can help you with that if you're looking for apartment complexes. I doubt it. I don't think it'll be any different than any other paperwork that I said. But if you do, for whatever reason, some places might ask for different things and you need it, then you just email me and we can help you out on that. bookfabiohart@gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. Can you repeat the contract steps again? I had to step away for a second. I don't know the contract steps. I don't know what you mean by that, Kiki. You might want to play the video back. You can definitely play that back, because I would like for you to take notes on it, so when I end it, you might want to play it back and listen to it in its entirety. That way, if you miss something the first time, you could will do. Thanks, Fabio. True nuggets you're giving. Not a problem, Serene. Really want to see you guys, really do it. Like I say, start with your paperwork, you guys. Start there, okay, and however you get your paperwork, your documents and stuff. What I'll do, if you have any documents, I can overlook it. If you send me an email of it, I can take a look at it and I can give you a few pointers as to. I did that. It might have been last weekend. I had somebody they had found sent me. I say, well, you might want to change this. You might want to take this out. You can add this, and I give you a free pointers if you and not charge you anything, and just to tell you what you might want to add in, what you might want to take out, what you can leave in, what don't pertain to you, what will pertain to you. Certain little nuggets, certain little things you might want to add to it before you go ahead and print it off and start using it. So if you guys have, whether it's an estimate breakdown or estimate sheet or an agreement or whatever the case is, if you have any paperwork, you can email it to me, bookfabiohart@gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com, bookfabiohart, all one word, @gmail.com. That's BOOK, F like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART @gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. Okay, you just email it to me. My assistant, she's going to see it first, get it over to me. I'll take a look at it, read through it. I'll send you an email back, or have her to say, hey, make sure that they put this in, or they can take that out, or whatever the case is, to try to help you come close to a perfect agreement as possible. Okay, because I know certain things upon just looking at an agreement what to look for. Okay, or your estimate sheet. Sometimes you got these different estimate templates that you don't. I'm so glad that I met you on here, YouTube. Here's my number. Wow. Hang on, I'm gonna have to screenshot it because let me see here. Are you in Texas, Kiki? They look like a Texas number. That's cool. But like I said, yeah, that's I'll be more than willing to take a look at any paperwork that you guys have or whatever. And why? Because it looked like a Texas number. That's why. Texas or Louisiana number. Look like a South number. But like I said, if you got any paperwork or anything like that that you want me to take a look at, I can take a look at it. I can give you a few pointers. That's cool. Awesome. I can let you know what I would add to it, what won't probably pertain to you, or whatever the case, just depending on where you guys get it from. Okay, so, but have that paperwork situated first. Again, because like I said, guys, this could happen. Don't go in with the notion that you're going to be turned away. Go on with the idea that when you go in that, hey, I'm going to get this. And if they want me to do a walkthrough and give them an estimate or whatever the case is, I'm ready for it. That's the mindset. You don't want to go in and say, well, you know what, I'm going to wing it. Because that's what most people do. They wing it. Call me up. Fabio, hey, man, look, man, what happened was, man, I went into this place like you said, man. And I said what saying what you were saying on the live. This is how they talk to me. And, man, that shit worked, bro. Like, here's the thing. I got 2 people that told me to call them back next week. I got 3 people that seem kind of interested. They just give me the whole breakdown. But I got this one person that said that she wanted an estimate today. She asked me, she seemed like she really interested in my company. She wanted an estimate right now. She wanted an estimate today. And I don't have no freaking paperwork, man. I know you about to get on my head because you said the paperwork, but I was really expecting these people to just to say no. That's not how it goes, you guys. You want to anticipate a yes, not a no. You want to anticipate a yes. I'm telling you guys this because I know this factual. I actually get emails and calls like this where people is in a frantic because they don't have the paperwork. Email me at bookfabiohart@gmail.com, Kiki. How accurate is my estimate sheet? Very accurate. I done sold my estimate sheet all over the country. You can adjust it in specific areas, right? So it's enough where you can, if you just use my numbers alone, you can make a profit. But if you're in like a California, Nevada, something like that, you know, you might want to raise the numbers up because we're in different areas, right? So, but that's something that I talk to people when I talk to them, you know, before they purchase. I let them know, like, hey, you can adjust the numbers up. You don't want to go down because you perhaps will be losing some money. You don't want to go like down from the numbers, but you can, depending on your area, your market, you can adjust it to where it fit, you know, another $5 on top of this or $10 on top of that and bring it up some. Or you can use mine and you really clean up. You know, you wouldn't necessarily be undercutting anybody, but you'll be running a little lower than your specific, your marketplace, your area. So that's kind of how I explain it to people. But like I said, man, you guys got any questions, I'll take a look at it, whatever you have, give you my honest opinion about what you have. Should I add a copy of my insurance? Now here's the thing. Nope, it's not a template at all. It's a full document. It's not a template. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the insurance, you guys. And I've seen a lot of people fuck this up, dude. I've seen a lot of people fuck this up. And I'm glad the insurance thing came up. Let me see what time we got here. It's 12, almost 12:30. I need help. Really stay stuck with launching. Gomez, email me, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. I want to talk to you personally so I can see. Okay, yep. Gomez, make sure you email me following this live. When you get off of this live, book Fabio Hart, BOOK, F like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART @gmail.com. I want to talk to you. Make sure you leave your number so my assistant tell him, hey, I was on this live. I need to talk to him ASAP. And give her your name. She's going to get the message over to me. If I see it before she do, I'll make a small note, probably give you a call tomorrow, okay? I want to make sure that you get this. Fabio help Gomez. He's a good dude. I want to make sure you get this. How would I really contact you? Let me see. How would I purchase that bad boy? You'll go to bookfabiohart@gmail.com. You guys, any questions about paperwork, anything like that, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. I want to make sure you guys get an understanding. Let me make sure I'm answering everybody. Oh, okay. So I want to go back to the insurance thing. The insurance thing. A lot of you guys are messing it up. Listen to me. Listen to me from a big brother stand. Listen to me. Do not mention insurance unless they bring it up. Do not mention insurance unless they bring it up. And here's the thing, you only make the process longer for yourself when you mention that. Because say you don't have insurance in the beginning. Like me, I didn't have insurance for 6 months of business. I didn't have insurance for 6 months of business. Okay? And I was praying like, God, no one said it, because at the time I couldn't afford it. Like I said, guys, it was sweat equity for me. So I was getting contracts and they weren't even asking me if I had insurance. They didn't ask. I didn't mention it. They didn't ask. I didn't mention it. It looked like my phone is. So don't mention insurance unless if you have insurance and you want to go ahead and mention it and whatnot, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. But if you don't have insurance in the beginning, I wouldn't mention it, because then that means, especially if you don't have the money for it. Okay, but if you watching my live and you already have your insurance, no, you can still have it on there. You can still have it on your marketing material, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Tony. Let me explain this, how it works. On my flyers and my material, I had it on there. I'm sorry, you guys, if I look lopsided, I have to plug my phone up here. Here's the thing. In the beginning, I had it on my marketing material because I knew I'd rather have it on my marketing material now than have to edit it into my marketing material later, have to put it on my business cards, order new business cards later. Okay? Every company out here, I don't care what site you go to, what company you look up, whether it's a franchise or not franchise, everybody's going to say we're licensed, bonded, and insured, even if they're not. Okay, it's not until you it's not until you check them for that. It's not until you check them for that that you that they find out. Now, here's the thing about insurance. Here's the thing about insurance. I knew eventually I will have to have insurance, right? So within that 6 months, I was saving money and revenue when I had, 6 months of not having insurance. I was saving that money up so I can be ready. I can be insurance ready. And as I was saving, I was trying to decide who I was going to go with, whether it was going to be a smaller insurance firm or whether it was going to be a large insurance firm. Insurance is insurance, okay? Just like burgers is burger. You just decide if you want to go to McDonald's, White Castles, Crystals, Burger King, whoever, right, to get your burger. Joe Blow Burgers. You just decide where you want to go. Same thing with insurance, right? So whether you go to Allstate, Progressive, or whoever, right, or Geico, whoever, whether you're going through any of those lender or you're going to just JP's insurance agent that we might have never heard about. Okay, JP is just as reputable as these big guys. The only difference is we never heard of JP, but we heard of Progressive, Allstate, and this, that. So a lot of times people think they have to go through these guys. You don't necessarily have to go through them. That's why I tell people to shop around. If you can find a local insurer in your area that's small, you want to make sure that they got they real insurance company, right? You might have to do a little due diligence, make sure everything is on the up and up with them. But you don't necessarily have to go with the big guys, okay? The insurance business is a billion-dollar industry within itself, right? And the agents, the more they sell you, the more profit they pocket, the more they make on their commission for selling you more insurance. Okay, so that's pretty much the way it works. Okay, so when you put licensed, bond, and insured, you want to put that on your marketing material, because I'd rather put it on my marketing material today and not have it and still operate than have to change it later and add it to it once I get insurance, right? Every company, they got nailed to the city on the light pole in the city. I drive by it all the time. Carpet cleaning company, carpet cleaning, ABC carpet cleaning. Call 1-800 this and that, or call 734 da 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 da. Licensed, bonded, and insured. You don't know if they licensed, bonded, and insured at all until you check, right? Until they check, or until they ask them, hey, I need to see your insurers, or I need a copy of your insurance, or whatever the case is. Okay, so that's the thing. So, but a lot of people, like I say, I was operable, I was registered business-wise, everything, all of that was good, but I was operable for 6 months and I didn't have the insurance. And I eventually got the insurance. So as I started getting more bigger accounts, see, these smaller size accounts weren't asking me for them. I was having dentist's office, chiropractor's office, daycare center, little smaller things like this, right? That you would clean after hours. I was the only one in the building. I didn't really have to deal with a lot of people, that type of thing, right? But then you get like day porters. I got day porter accounts, right? Like in nursing homes, right? The insurance they ask for. I have schools, like little charter schools, little private schools, things like that, where kids go to school, that type of thing. They ask for insurance. Like plants, like this one. This is a plant. Here, one of my biggest accounts, they ask for insurance. They, want to see insurance. So over time, I was able to get the insurance. Okay, but in the very, very beginning, I just couldn't afford it right then and there. I ordered this package, I just couldn't afford it. I was trying to make some money. I was hoping that they didn't ask me for it. So don't mention insurance unless they bring it up. That's whether you have it or you don't have it, because you just make the process a lot longer for you to get in the door. I'm just telling you, that's just my personal opinion, right? Because now, for an example, if you try to come and clean this building, let's say where I'm at, and you mention insurance, and you and they didn't say anything about insurance, and you mention insurance, and you don't have insurance, and you don't have the money for insurance, what are you going to do? because they're not going to allow you to clean their facility without it. What are you going to do? So hold on, you guys. Let me get back here. The question, Heather. Heather, I don't know if you're still on here with me. I always assume that charge tax on the services like goods, and so, but I heard you weren't. I heard you weren't supposed to for a service. No, charge taxes. You charge taxes on a service. Look at your phone bill. That's a service. They charge you tax. Look at your utility bill. That's a service. They charge you tax. Look at your insurance bill, car insurance, this, that, and the third. They charge you tax. Services, they do tax on services. Just look at your bill. You're going to see they're going to have tax. And in these places, not even in your city, not even in your state, a lot of times, you know, their corporate office or whatever, you know, when you look at your bill, they charge tax. Yes, charge tax because you have to pay them. So if you don't charge them, you still got it. You're still responsible for them. Business tax, personal tax, whatever the case, you're still going to be responsible for the taxes. So you have to equate that into the price. And that's when you give them your estimate. All of that goes into that estimate price. Like I say, if you don't have an estimate format or a template, you know, like on mine, it states, you know, grand total tax, you know, have a line for the tax, subtotal, I should say, tax, grand total, right? So they know everything is itemized, everything is very clear, very understandable. While you being charged this is for this is an extra service, so it's an extra fee. Everything is itemized, clear cut, and they understand it when they see it. Okay. So you do want to charge tax. Let me see here. 1 second. I see the questions coming in abundance now. I just want to make sure. Heather, do you understand me? I just want to make sure you understand. Let me go to Kiki, you guys. I'm working my way down the list. Kiki, I'm just starting on, let's say, the job pays. Let me say, let's say a job pays $65 for a 1-bedroom. Can I pay an employee a commission or until I build up my business? Right now, I can pay an employee by the job. You pay them how you want to pay them. You can give them a set price. You can give them a set price that you're gonna pay them. And if they agree to it, and you got them on an application or whatever, if they're an employee, then you know. I'm not sure if you're just starting out, if you want to have an employee, to be honest with you, Kiki. I would try to build up the revenue myself and do the job myself. But if you're in a situation work-wise where you need an employee, this, that, and the third, yes, you can agree of a set price and pay that person that set price, that set fee. Okay, and if they agree to that, then that's what you would pay them. Okay. Hopefully I answered your question. Hopefully I answered your question with that. You're saying commission. Commission is when you make a sale on something, hon. You're not paying them a commission. Okay? A commission is if you selling shoes and I buy a pair of shoes from you at Foot Locker, not only do I get an hourly wage, but I get a commission off of that purchase. A commission is like what a waitress would do. Yeah, they get paid hourly, but you know that they get a commission on, you know, on these tips or whatever. They make so many tips or whatever. They you know, the establishment get, you know, a part of this tips, and they get a commission based on that. They add it to their check or however they do it, right? So it's only when you selling something you're gonna get a commission on that. Okay, so your employees wouldn't get a commission. It would just be a set flat rate that you pay them. Okay, if they agreed upon it, or you could just pay them hourly. However you do it, you the business, the decision maker, you the company owner. However you set it up is how it's gonna be. Okay. I'm working my way down, you guys. Yes, sir, you have to pay the taxes. So if you don't charge, then you're losing that money. You're absolutely right, Evolve. Just like I said. Have you ever got an account going through corporate? If so, what was the process like? No, I can't say. Yeah. Actually, I have. Actually, I have. Um, Going through is a carrier. I won't say the carrier, but like a mailing carrier, right? I had to go to the corporate office for that. It was very simplistic because what happens is it's not as technical as it seems. You just pretty much essentially letting the corporate know the facility that you're interested in your city, right? And they generally work that out with the corporate office and the local office. Generally, kind of work that out, and you submit all your paperwork, your documentations, whatever they got to sign, whatever. You have to submit that over to the corporate, or a lot of times, depending on the type of company it is, you can submit it directly to the company and they can ship it over to corporate. They can send it over to corporate that way. So you can either go directly to corporate if they suggest that you send it out to them or you fax it over to them, your paperwork, or you can give it to the local party, the local entity, and then they can fax it over to corporate. Okay. But at the end of the day, when they say go to corporate, corporate is the one that make the decisions if you're gonna get hired. And that's generally based on your numbers, based on your charging, your insurance, a lot of that stuff. They're gonna have to see a lot of that stuff. Okay. Um, Things could change, can vary from corporation to corporation. Okay, some people would need to see certain things. Other companies might not be so big on it. Okay, so you just have to see how they operate, especially like banks. Like I got bank accounts, not literally, but I got accounts where we clean banks. A lot of times, big banks, you got to go to the corporate and deal with them. Okay, so whatever they say they need, you're going to have to send in order to work for them. Okay, and if you don't have it, then you have to get it some type of way, right? Obviously legal. You're going to have to get that information and be able to submit that information to corporate so you'll be able to pick up that account from a corporate standpoint. Now, the unique thing about corporate a lot of times is they will want you from a corporate base to cover other areas. For an example, I took a look at enterprise rental, car rental, right? Now, I submitted paperwork and information over to them, which they already have, right? But they told me that they can't do anything until the end of the year, at the top of 2019, right? So they can't hire because they hiring once a year. So when they reevaluate contracts and estimates and things like that, so I have a bid in. But when I went to corporate, they wanted me to pick up 5 other locations besides the one that I actually went to. And because it was local and it wouldn't be out of my range, I'm able to do that. I'm able to accept this contract because even though they want me to pick up like 5 other ones, right? It's not out of my range in terms of driving and getting to it. I will be able to have somebody trained and be able to work that specific account. I'm coming down to you, Serene. I'm coming down to you. I'm just answering these questions. Let me see. I'm coming down to you. I see you. I see you. Kevin say, have you ever got a account? Okay, yep. I answered that. I hate when they tell me go through corporate. Yeah, it just seems scary when they say go through corporate, but there's no way around that. Serene says, so should you so should you include all service charges plus taxes on the account on the invoice? Got you. Okay. When you invoice them, all of that is on there every single month. Now the numbers don't change, right? Like whatever you bill them for, generally speaking, is going to be the same amount unless you're doing something extra that causes the price to go up. Okay, so if they wanted you to do an extra day, for an example, they had a party, they wanted you to come in on a Saturday. Typically, you might work, let's say, Monday and Thursday, but they got an extra event. The price is going to go up because you're doing an extra day. So you're going to bill them for that, right? Because Saturday wouldn't be a typical day for you. So if something along those lines happen, the tax rate is still going to be the tax rate. You're still going to tax them at whatever your state sales tax or whatever your tax rate is in your area, right? So that won't change, but the only difference is you got to make more on this particular week because they needed you to do extra day. So they called you in to do an extra day. So you'll bill them for it. Let me see. Understood. Okay. Evolve say, Kevin, yes, I hate that too. And some banks that you go through corporate and get a done number, hate that. I never had the done number thing. Why? I guess because I've had my little banks for a minute now, and no one ever asked me for a done number. I'm not a big fan of done either. Let me see here. But Fabio, are you familiar with done numbers a corporate needs you to have? Yeah. A corp they don't necessarily like I said, it depends on the corporate entity that you go through. I don't have a done number, and I do have corporate accounts. So that speak for itself. No one has asked me about a done number. I'm really not a big fan of done. Done is just a pay entity that corporate people like for you to uh, use, because in a corporate mindset it makes your organization seem solidified. That's just kind of almost like a BBB. Like, I'm not a big fan of BBB, Better Business Bureau, because a Better Business Bureau would report negatively on you for free, but they would speak highly of you for a fee. So I'm not really a big fan of that. What is your average percentage of profit after you pay your employee supplies? Another cleaning guy I found said 15%. Yeah, it sound about right. Sound about right. It could be a little more, a little less. It just depending on the revenue. Let me see. Hey Fabio, you mentioned in the past videos you have a site here in Atlanta. Do you do background checks on your employees? If so, are there a company you can recommend at a low cost? Yes, I do have accounts in Atlanta. Still operate in Atlanta. Most of my accounts East Atlanta, Zone 6. I do have like Midtown area, Smyrna, certain areas of Atlanta, and outskirts of Atlanta. Um, you can use well, there's a lot of background check companies. All you have to do is kind of type them in, get a feel for them. They're just service providers, so of course you will have to pay like a monthly fee to be able to access that. And all you have to do is just once you collect the information from your applications, just submit that into that system, right? And then get the information that you need to have your background check done. Another thing that I'm a big fan of is a police clearance. You can get a police clearance because here's the thing. A lot of times, let's say you do a background check on somebody and the background is, kind of old, but let's say the person that you're about to hire did a crime within the last 60 days. It may not necessarily be on their background check that quick because it's a process to get on the background, right? But if you tell that person to go get a police clearance, which all a police clearance is, if you kind of look it up, all it is, it's just a document that they'll give you to say you cleared, you don't have anything going on with you. Now, if a person don't get a police clearance, there's a high chance that they probably have something going on with them and they just don't want to deal with the police at all. So you're probably not going to get a response back from them. Okay. Um, I don't push that much these days, but I have in the past asked for them to have a police clearance, like in the Detroit, Michigan area, surrounding area, especially in Detroit. And a lot of times people will go and get cleared. They bring you the document, or you can get a copy of the document. Most times they can just give me the document. So I get the document. Okay, read it. It cleared. They don't have nothing going on. But if they have something going on, a lot of times, like I said, you probably won't hear back from them because they're not going to go into the police station, and you have to go into the precinct to get the clearance. Okay. And that's only because, like I say, dealing with the background companies and those companies, it doesn't populate in their system that quick. It take a bit of time to populate for it to hit the background. Okay, let me see here what we have here. A lot of the servers actually, Serena, are pretty low cost. You're probably going to be looking at maybe $30 a month on the high side, maybe 15.99, 9.99, just depending on what provider you go through. 19.99. So it's a lot of different companies you can use. They all have access to the same database. So, okay, thank you. I went through Wachovia, and they're right, and they require right. It's a lot of company credit rating. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Evolve. Yo, Ozzy. I've been told to talk to corporate. Yeah, just talk to corporate. See what they need from you, and it's a learning experience. Just talk to corporate. At the very least, you could learn what it is you need. It's nice to know that process, because as you're growing your business, you want to scale up. You want to be able to deal with corporate. You want to be able to grow your business. Okay, so don't let the fact talk to corporate scare you. It feels bad and it feels big, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to talk to corporate, so there's a lot of different channels you got to go through, right? Before you even meet the decision maker or get to the appropriate person that handle the cleaning aspect of it. Over 2 hours late, but I'm here. Hey, what's up, professional window cleaner? So yeah, just go through the corporate process. I mean, it's at the worst case you don't get it, but it's a learning experience. Okay, me, I don't like dealing with corporate myself either because of the fact that how many employees you have. I get asked that question often. To be honest, I don't know exactly how many employees I have because I operate in Georgia, Ohio, and Michigan. Um, I would estimate under 100 for sure. I don't have more than 100 employees. But I don't know the exact amount because see, I deal with turnover rate too. People quit, then we replace it, or people quit, and then we double up somebody else's work job that might want to be able to pick up more hours or make more money. So, sometimes we hire or sometimes we work from within, like I like to do, and have somebody else pick up somebody else slack where they might have quit a specific account. That way that person could, make more money and build more to their check. But I don't know the exact amount of employees. I'm sorry. Um, Let me see here. You guys have any more questions? Hopefully you guys understand. Hopefully you guys understand exactly what I was saying earlier. In terms of leaving money on the table, make sure you do your follow-ups. Don't wait. If they say we're gonna call you back in a week and they don't call you back, then you have to follow up, you guys. You have to follow up. That's how you're leaving money on the table. It's probably people that you need to call back right now that's willing to hire you, or that need to hire you, or even worse, that hired another company, and that's because you didn't follow up. That company, they probably told that company the same thing, and that company followed up. So now when you call them back, they're going to go from not having a cleaner to now that they have a cleaner, we all set. They're going to tell you we all set. Uh, tomorrow, Ozzy, tomorrow you can definitely talk about that. Just shoot us an email. But like I said, that's what you guys want to do. You want to be able to, uh, you want to be able to set yourself up to win on, but systematically break it down. So break it down systematically, okay? From your marketing to your structuring. Don't give up, but follow up. Okay, follow up. Again, that's one way to, like I say, leave a lot of money on the table, and that's not following up on your previous actions. Okay, if you go out door to door and they tell you, no, we don't need, use the technique that I tell you guys to use. It works for me. Not every time. I'm not here to say it's going to always work, every time. But you use it. You say, okay, I understand. Great. Would it be okay if I come back the next quarter? I want to start floor care service with my window cleaning business. Would it be a good idea to trace out the state to find work? I'm not able to find work locally. I want to hear your opinion. You say to travel out of state. Okay. Yeah, or you don't even necessarily got to be out of state. You can go to another part of your own state, right? So let's say you're in Tampa, Florida. You might say, you know what, I'm not getting any traction in Tampa. I'm gonna go to Tallahassee, or I'm gonna go to Jacksonville, Duval County, or I'm gonna take my chance in Miami, right? Or I'm gonna go to Boca Raton, or I'm gonna go to, wherever. You go to another section in your state. You don't necessarily have to move out of state. Okay? Travel out of state. I got stuck today when I was told to give them an estimate on how much I would charge for a cleaning job. You got stuck whenever, see, because when you get stuck, just email me. Email me, because see, you've already purchased paperwork and documents and like that from me, so it's nothing for you to just reach out to us, man. We're not gonna charge you to help you, especially when you already made that purchase for it. I want to get you in there, so if that's still pending, and if it's still a way that we can get you in there, make sure you definitely hit me up on that, Ozzy. Like I said, you already purchased. You don't have to worry about being charged anything extra, nothing like that, for me to help you with that. Okay, I want to make sure you get it in. I want to make sure you get in there. Okay, so make sure the earlier the better. I think we're on the same time frame. If you can give me a call or give me an email by 9 a.m. in the morning, before noon is the best time to reach me before I get extremely busy. Okay, just make sure you do that. Make sure you reach out to me. Or you can do it tonight. Shoot my assistant. She probably sleep now, but then when she wake up and check, I think about 6 a.m., then she'll be able to let me know that I'm supposed to call you as a reminder. Okay? Let me see here. Serene. Thanks, Fabio. We will be starting cleaning seminars tour. Yep, I want to get my subscription up. I get asked about doing the tour or cleaning seminar, public speaking, that type of thing. I do public speaking, like off the record once I'm called, but as far as traveling or meet and greets, I get asked a lot about doing a meet and greet where a lot of my subscribers just want to be able to, like a photo op or touch me or just talk to me personally. One of those, state to state, go to the hotels and talk to them type of thing. I'll be more than willing to do that. I want to get my subscription list up. I don't think I'm big enough right now, or known enough right now for it. But we can see what happens. So many people need your insight and expertise on clean business. Really appreciate you, brother. Not a problem, Serene. Yeah, a lot of people ask me to do seminars to talk about the cleaning thing. It's just I like the one-on-one thing, because here's the thing: when you talk to a group of people like a class, right? What I find that everybody don't have the same motivation. But if I can pick out one person and I can kind of talk to one person and deal with one person at a time, I can kind of really get a feel for their motive, get a feel for them if they're really going to attack this thing. And most of the people that I talk to over the phone that's contacted me, that order my product or service, whether they like me or they don't like me, a lot of them understand that I really want them to win. It's a lot of frustration in it because when you're just starting out, you don't know what you don't know. So I tell people all the time, even with me, like I still make mistakes to this day, Serene. So I'm not like this cleaning guru god. I know everything, right? The stuff that I share with you guys here on the live is through trial and error, right? Stuff like mistakes that I made. I tell you, don't go right, go left. Don't go left, go right, right? I tell you what to do based on my own actions, okay? And I also say that it may or may not work for you in your area, So I make it be known that um, nothing is guaranteed. I can't guarantee anything, but it's a sense of direction when you had no direction at all, right? So let me see here. When do you think it's easier to manage for a beginner, maybe with a few employees, a bunch of small accounts, or one huge factory type setting? Why do you think it's easier? I'm assuming she's saying, why do you think it's easier to manage for a beginner, maybe a few employees, a bunch of small accounts with one huge factory type setting? I'm not. Good night, Evolve. I'm not sure if I understand where you coming from. Is that Heather? I don't know if you're asking me why or when. When do you think? Oh, you're asking me, is it easier to manage a bunch of small accounts or one huge factory type setting? Well, with me, either one, either one. Factories give me more hell because factories give me more hell because, like, we generally working with the client. We generally they're almost like a day porter, even though it's evening cleaning. Because as you guys see here, I'm at a plant. From time to time, you might see their workers come in here, right? So you might see the workers, be able to access this. It got the copy machine right behind me. So a lot of times they send copies from their computers throughout the course of the plan, and it prints out right here. They come and pick it up, right? Or on the back wall, as you can see, that little basket right there is where a lot of their files are, right? Or like my employees, they put their time sheets in there and that type of thing. Here, the drawer right here, all of this stuff is filled. These drawers is filled with you guys can't see in here, but let me see. Let me take it out here. Like all of these folders here is like with my company information due for my employees, right? So this is the section of this plant here that they give me. This is what my office is within this company, right? So I did like a walkthrough of the plant. When you see me looking up at the screen here, I'm looking at cameras. I can actually see my employees in real time working. I know what building they're at. I know where in there. We walk the grounds because we got to clean the outside too, right? So we're responsible for cleaning the inside and the outside. So I can see when they're walking in grounds, picking up with the little picker upper, the litter and things like that. Okay, so like I say, all of this here is applications, forms, different things that's pertaining to this site and my employees that work at this specific site. Okay, so that's just to give you an idea. But like I say, for me, I've been doing it for a little minute now that either or, big or small, I can handle it, right? And I'm not the main person. Like I have help too, like within my organization. So like everything, let's say in the Detroit area and the surrounding area is my business, right? I get paid off of the accounts and things like that. But I can't possibly do every single thing and still do like other businesses that I do. Like I do Motor Club of America, MC. I have other endeavors, right? So you have to have some help, and you have to delegate and outsource that to people that you feel will be able to handle that task, right? So I don't, as long as you have a well-trained staff, you don't catch a lot of flack, you pay them decent, right? They'll stay with you. When you pay somebody just regular minimum wage, which I would suggest you do if you just starting out, but you don't want to leave them there because the minimum wage employees I find is a high turnover rate, and I find they don't stay with you that long. But when you start paying people $10, $12 an hour, to them that's a lot of money per hour. Like I say, I just had a guy, I don't know if you were on here, I have a guy that has a cleaning business, and he pay his people a set dollar amount per account, and they get a raise every time he get a new account. They get a raise. So what he do before he hire from the outside, because all of his people that work for him, he know personally, so they like friends or family, things like that. So he take them from, let's say, one site and take them to another site, train them there and take them to another site, train them there, take one person to another site, train them there. So as long as they keep building up their workload, they'll keep making more money. So they get a raise every time he get another contract, big or small. If it's a big contract, then he use multiple workers, 2 or 3 workers at a time to clean a big contract. If it's a small contract, then he might take one worker from this side and say, hey, I got another site over there, would you want to pick it up? It's a small account. If that person say yeah, then he assign it to that person. If that person say no, he go to his next worker. Hey, I got an account over there, you can pick up more money if you want to attack it. That person might say yeah. So that person is going to make more money because he pay more per account, whereas I'm totally different. I don't do it that way, right? So again, there's no right or wrong way, but it worked for him, and his employees stay. We talk all the time. He talk about my employees. I talk about his employees, and his employees stay around because they being paid good. Now the only difference is he's a cool guy. He's a franchise. I won't say his franchise name, and I'm not. I'm independent. So that's just how it goes. But anything is possible. Like I say, when it's your company, you structure, you set it up how you want to set it up. However it fit best for you. You feel me? So you don't necessarily have to do it a way that the internet says it has to be done, right? That's just a template, so to speak. That's just a format, so to speak, that you can use if you didn't know anything about it, right? But some people are employees, have the employee mindset where they want to have employees like me, and some people want to have subcontractors. Somebody that they don't have to pay taxes out to. They just pay them X, Y, and Z, and then they 1099 them at the end of the year. So, it just depends on the person. You guys have any more questions? If you guys need to reach me, man, it's bookfabiohart@gmail.com, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. Look like it's about 1 o'clock. If you guys have any more questions, I can go ahead and take them real quick. Like I say, I do want to make sure you guys understand the importance of your paperwork and importance of your dedication to your business, okay? And not giving up. In order to set up a system, you have to do something, okay? In order to set up a system that's going to run itself, like McDonald's and Burger King and stuff, these are systems, they run themselves, is you have to do something, but you have to keep trying with your marketing. You can't give up. I know the frustration, trust me, because like I said, man, I wanted to get my first account in the first 60 days, and I wound up getting it within the first 90 days. All right, that wasn't my goal. So when I got to the 60-day mark, I was so close to giving up and throwing my rag in. And it was cold as shit, 2012, February. I'm in the Midwest. Like it was brutal. So you guys hear me, this is my story. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. I wanted to give it up, but I didn't give up. And I've been able to scale it not only in the state of Michigan, but in Georgia, in Ohio, and used to be in VA before I sold off my contracts in VA to franchise, right? So like I said, man, you guys can really make this shit work. You just have to stay determined. Don't give up. Keep trying one thing after another, and eventually you're gonna hit a home run. Do you guys have any questions? Anything before I let you guys go here? Again, if you need some insight, if you have some templates of some paperwork you want me to look at, or you have an agreement you want me to read, I can kind of pinpoint and help you with it and tell you what's good, what I think you should change, if it's an okay agreement, if it's good to start off with, whatever the case is. If you have any questions about the paperwork, I can definitely answer your questions and overlook what you have and help you with that. If you're interested in my coaching, which I don't push upon you guys, it used to be $75 an hour. It's $100 an hour. Um, for that, if you're at all interested, it's not a must. I'm just letting you know. Um, Other than that, man, if you guys have any questions about anything, uh, damn sure get at me. Book FabioHart@gmail.com. That's BOOK. F like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART@gmail.com. Book FabioHart@gmail.com. Okay. Do you guys have any further questions before we get out of here? I just want to make sure uh, that I answered your question. If I answered your question and you're still unclear, then you might want to email me. I'll phone you and get into the specifics and the details of whatever your question was or whatever you still don't understand. Okay. I try to cover everybody here on YouTube in terms of their questions and things like that. Um, but like I said, man, at the end of the day, I want you guys to win. But you have to want it more than I want it for you. Thanks so much, Fab. Have a good night. Can't wait for the next live. Not a problem, Serene. Not a problem. My live, is few and far between. I get people ask me all the time, could I go live more frequent? It's getting kind of tight because I really do this business. So the stuff that I tell you guys, I'm really active in terms of trying to pick up more contracts, trying to scale my business, trying to just make more wave, build more jobs for people. I get resumes and applications all the time, right? So I want to be able to help others with jobs and be able to get jobs and things like that. So I need to pick up more business to do that, especially when, like, a lot of people that work for me, they don't quit, in terms of like employee wise, and that's because I understand how to deal with them, right? I'm a fair employer, but I'm not friendly with them. I guess I'm respected, but I'm not really friendly with them, right? But I'm not really harsh on them either, right? So you have to build that bond, but it can't be too close. You build it too close, then they take you to the cleaners, get you a run for your money, so to speak. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay. Okay. Well, it looked like we had a good session tonight. I do want to thank you guys that hopped on the live. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, if you have anybody that you know that want to start a cleaning business, make sure you share it with them, man. Tell them come here, listen to the knowledge that I impute in you guys here. Um, um, Other than that, man, if you guys have any further questions, you know what to do. You can email me, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. That's all one word, no space, no gap, no nothing. Just BOOKFABIOHART@gmail.com. Okay, bookfabiohart@gmail.com. That's going to do it for now, you guys. We had a terrific session. And as always, the only person that can ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care.